Welcome back everybody to another pomade review, and today we'll be taking a look at another gel type water-based pomade. And our pomade for today is Lockhart's water-based Goon Grease. This is obviously meant to be the water-based version of the game-changing Goon Grease pomade, which is the product that put the Lockhart's company on the map. It broke the traditional standards for an oil-based pomade by being one of the first, if not the first, oil-based pomades to have a higher level of hold and a higher level of shine simultaneously. Now, several versions of the water-based Goon Grease have been released over the years, but the formula was never perfect. So the Lockharts finally decided to perfect their formula recently, and now they permanently released the final version of the water-based Goon Grease, which I hold in my hands right now. As usual, it comes in a 3.7, well, you can approximate it to 4 ounces, a 4-ounce jar right here. Pretty typical of the Lockhart's professional line and just the Lockhart's line. I generally have the brown plastic jar with a screw top lid. And you have the Goon Grease mascot over here. Lockhart's water-based Goon Grease. On the side, you have the specifications for its hold. It's meant to be a 4 out of 5 hold, which is a true firm. A volume that's higher than average, it's 3.5 out of 5. Low texture, 2 out of 5. Gives at least some texture, but not so much. And a shine between medium and high, 4 out of 5. And on the right side over here, you have the ingredients and directions of use. Now this one over here, it has a very similar look to Paradox, which is the another gel type pomade from the Lockharts. Well, their orthodox water-based pomades are just something of their own. They're not like Suavecito or Layrite or much of the other gel type pomades you're used to. They have more of a goopy, lotiony texture, not so much the jelly sticky texture you would find in typical oil-based pomades. They're very iconic, and it has the same color that the standard oil-based Goon Grease has, and the same standard scent as well, which is the cucumber cologne scent. A really masculine, one of my favorite pomade scents actually, a really masculine cologne scent that's slightly aquatic, and obviously smells like cucumber as well. This is meant to be applied into slightly damp hair. So I'm just going to go ahead and just slightly damp my hair right now. Now with this pomade, I wouldn't recommend applying it to dry hair, which I will explain in a bit. Now scooping it out, really easy. And it just feels like a really thick lotion. There's almost nothing to actually break down. It just smears down into your hands, and it doesn't feel it has a very goopy appearance and feel. It's not super sticky. If anything, it just feels super slick, and it feels a little slimy, just like a slightly sticky slime. A lotiony slime. Applying to the hair is also really easy as well, no hassle at all. You start to feel a really slick resistance. And I mentioned that I wouldn't recommend applying this to dry hair because if you apply it to slightly damp hair, you would get more of the control that you need, while I find that I don't really get so much of a better control. I don't really get the control that I want if I apply to dry hair. It won't really spread around so much. And also another issue we found with dry hair is that there is an increased likelihood of the product flaking, which I shall get to a little later because this is an issue that's pretty important in a product in my opinion. Let's just apply another scoop, a second scoop right here. And at the same time, you wouldn't want to apply this to hair that is too damp either, because it will really dilute the hold that you have. Now you're beginning to see a medium-ish shine over here, but I wouldn't consider this a 4 out of 5 shine. But the shine will, after the product firms up in your hair, the shine will indeed die down, so it becomes a notch or two above a neutral shine. I mean, there is definitely some shine, and you will notice it, but it's not really enough to be considered a higher than medium shine as advertised, and not really what I would see typical the Goon Grease line, because Goon Grease is known to have a shine that is actually high for its hold. But with this one, I don't really see that. It just like any other orthodox water-based pomade, it doesn't really have so much shine, but at least it still retains more shine than the average gel type does. Now combing it back, you can see that it feels very, very slick already. And you can see that my sides are being tucked back. Just gonna go ahead and form a part right now. My favorite thing about this pomade is that it's probably the slickest, one of the slickest gel type pomades I've ever used. This stuff is just super duper slick. It's actually really reminiscent to Paradox. I've used Paradox before, and which I bought last summer, and this actually feels like this kind of feels like Paradox the sequel to me. It has almost the same consistency, but just a little slicker with the Goon Grease scent and color. It pretty much performs similarly, except this one has a noticeable increase in hold, but same amount of shine. Just with Paradox, you just have sort of like a between light to medium hold, a true medium at best. Another thing about this product is that it's super duper lightweight, and that actually does help in the height. According to the product, like I said earlier, the volume is 3.5 out of 5, which means that's higher than average, but nothing too crazy, and this exactly falls that. I get a higher than average height with this, but I won't get any of those extreme shapes, an extreme height of my pompadour. And of course, just as with any other Lockhart's water-based pomade, shaping your hair with this is really easy, and it does not give that fake blocky look that some gel types give you. Now, because I'm a perfectionist, I'll just redo my pomp. Now, the hold on this one is actually, it really is indeed a true firm hold, but it does not get its hold from hardness just like a lot of other gel type water-based pomades do. But you would need some time for it to firm up. It does firm up, but it does not crunch at all. It does not get its hold from hardening whatsoever. There's zero hardening. It just firms up a little. But that's not to say that you can actually recomb this product, because I actually thought that this is the kind of product where you can actually do a dry recomb because it does not harden whatsoever. But I actually found that if I dry recomb this, I would end up getting some flakes. I would lose some shine. I would lose hold noticeably, and that can only be fixed by just adding a bit of water to my comb and just recombing it. But to be fair, I never really like to dry recomb a gel type pomade, no matter what is advertised about it. I just always feel comfortable just wet combing it if I need to restyle. But for this one, I tried both dry combing it and wet combing it for restyling. Wet combing it, absolutely no problem, as long as you add just a slight amount of water and not too much. But if you dry recomb it, you would indeed lose a lot of hold, flexibility, uh, and your hair just doesn't really go where you want it to be anymore. So you just need to add a bit of water to fix everything. The washability in this one, it does just rinse out with no problem. It's really easy to wash out. Just standard of the gel type pomade. What I do find about this is that when it comes to the initial hold, when you're waiting for it to firm up, which actually does take some time, it does not give the immediate hold like some gel type pomades do. You just kind of need to wait for it for a while. So for some of you who are not really familiar with these gel types by Lockhart, you might really question the hold initially because it's also so damn lightweight. You would just start asking, is there even any hold in this? But you will definitely notice the hold eventually once it firms up. Because yeah, the hold is definitely present, but you can't really feel it so much because the product is really lightweight. So I'll just show what the product looks like in my hair right now. My final verdict on Lockhart's water-based Goon grease. It is a good product. I enjoy it a lot, but in my opinion, it's not the most user-friendly thing around. I mean, if you're an oil-based pomade user and if you're just looking to jump into gel types, this is actually a good one to start with because it's very intuitive for an oil-based pomade user. It has a very slick feeling in the hands, and also when you apply it, it does not harden, but it just firms up and also styles to a really nice shape with ease. But with this product, I feel that you just really need to start with an appropriate initial wet condition of hair. Basically, that means that you can't get your hair too dry, either too dry or too wet, otherwise you would experience the styling problems with this, and you just need your hair to be in the appropriate amount of dampness, just ever so slightly damp hair. And some people don't even get this for the first time, so you just really need to be careful in how what your hair's initial damp, wet, dry condition is before you really use this, because if you go too wet or too dry, you might experience some problem styling with this one. And despite the how it does not harden and how flexible it feels, you can't dry recomb this, at least in my experience. But otherwise it does, and also for the shine, I do have to say that it's not really as I would expect for Goon grease quality. I expected a higher shine even, because I've actually seen other gel type pomades with a higher shine than this, but still it's a good enough shine, but it's not really what I was expecting for a Goon grease brand, a Goon grease line of product. So with that being said, it's actually mainly a good product because obviously the amount of advantages outweigh these things and you just easily overlook, because it has the exact amount of hold in my experience that is advertised. It styles, it has a really good slickness, and it styles how I like it, as long as you have the appropriate amount of dampness in your hair. So this is actually, I really do like this one, but really it's pretty much more like Paradox Part 2 to me rather than a water-based version of Goon grease. I mean, if there's a little more shine added, I'll be more convinced that this is like a water-based Goon grease, but this is pretty much like Paradox with more hold and a Goon grease scent to me. But I do love this product. If you enjoyed this review and learned quite a lot from it, please leave a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to this channel, click the bell icon so you don't miss a single upload of Squinty Show, and I'll see you next time on The Squinty Show.